Welcome to PacWest Magazine, the radio show. The show about our exciting Pacific West Conference. The PacWest is made up of NCAA Division II universities from Arizona and Utah to California and Hawaii. It's the most beautiful and diverse athletic conference in the entire NCAA. This is Commissioner Bob Hogue, inviting you to join our outstanding coaches, student athletes, and administrators as we talk about the great excitement in the PacWest. Now here's Assistant Commissioner Tom Camillo, live from our studios in Santan, Arizona.
Welcome to PacWest Radio. Tom Camillo, Joe Carrero, live in the Santan Valley. And Joe, I was just listening to that song before. What's Circle in the Sand? Is that Belinda Carlisle?
It is.
It is.
Yes.
It's funny because I thought that I couldn't remember who it was exactly, but I remember my first concert as a teenager.
Was it Belinda Carlisle?
Well, it was the Go-Go's. I really went to see the Police, and they were the opening act. So the first concert I went to was the Go-Go's. They were all right. I was there to see the Police.
I remember it was the biggest thrill for me. I think I was 15 or 16, right around there, and Debbie Gibson was going down to KZZP on Extension, and me and my buddy went and waited outside. We're like, yeah, big thrill.
She's had a successful career on Broadway, though.
That's right.
She has. So, well, welcome to PacWest Radio, and it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as we like to say. And today, we're going to talk to Hawaii Pacific University Sports Information Director Brent Curry, and then Lauren Conching, the head coach of HPU Women's Tennis. HPU is going to host the tennis championships this year in Honolulu, and we're going to talk to Brent, who's been the Sports Information Director there for a couple of years. And they kind of have a unique situation at HPU because their offices are located in downtown Honolulu. And the campus is located there, but the campus also has other locations. And because of the way Oahu is set up, and with the different sports that HPU has, they actually play at different locations. You know, unlike when I was the sports information director at Westchester University, I was located in a gym. We held a lot of events there, and then we had a South Campus that had all of our fields, and that's where all of our events took place. But HPU is, when they have events, they have an arena for basketball. They have to go to another location for softball, another location for baseball, cross country, and their different sports. So we'll talk to Brent about that because that is a real challenge to manage. And then we're going to talk to Lauren Conching, the head coach of HPU Women's Tennis, who beat BYU Hawaii, which was a huge win for the program and for Lauren. And also, they are ranked third in the nation. And joining us now, Brent Curry from HPU. Brent, welcome to PacWest Radio.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Brent, we want to talk to you a little bit about HPU, and one of the things that always, you know, when I had been to HPU and been to the offices or downtown, I would like you to give people a perspective. Unlike a lot of colleges and universities where sports information departments, athletic departments are right there around the fields, you really have some driving to do depending on what sport you're doing that day, and it's in all different locations all over Oahu, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously on the island of Oahu, it's, for people who haven't been out here, it's very densely populated, so land is at a premium. You can't just build fields and everything wherever you'd like. So unfortunately, we play our baseball games about a 40-minute drive from campus. And that's also about the same distance for our tennis matches. And you can obviously ask Lauren about that, when she comes on a little bit later. So it does give us a little bit of a challenge from, maybe having as many fans as we would like. But I really does think it gives our teams an advantage when we go play, on the road. We're battle tested before we even leave the airport with travel and all those kind of stuff.
So it's like a road. So in a sense, when you guys go play a baseball game, how do the players get from the campus downtown to the location? Do you have to bus them? Do you put them in vans, or do they get there themselves?
For a lot of the guys who are local, they have their own cars and stuff, and they will drive out there. We do have team passenger vans that leave from campus, for any of the players that want to go that way. So it's essentially, you're taking the van to go to your home game. Basketball, we're fortunate. There's a number of gyms, in town but again, it's not playing necessarily at the same gym every game. So again, our teams, don't really have to worry about adjusting to the road gym because they've been adjusting, a couple times a week during the season.
When you're looking at from a sports information perspective, today there's people want video, people are looking for live stats, people are looking for audio broadcast. With you trying to manage all that, it's not like you have your own gym. You're using an outside facility. It's not like you're using a facility on your campus for baseball or softball. You're going out to maybe a park or something like that. That's got to be a real challenge to kind of manage all that and get those things in place that you want to do.
Yeah, for sports information from that perspective, it is a bit of a headache, just because the internet required isn't, say, the internet that you just have on your phone. You need a dedicated and substantial speed to be able to upload video and do live stats and all that kind of stuff. But obviously you can't go install hardwired internet at a city park that you're going to play maybe 3 games at. So at HPU, we've had to do our best with wireless signals, and it's probably not going to come across to the best the best that it could to the end user at home. But as long as we can give some kind of indication what's going on here with our games, we think that's valuable enough to at least give it our best shot to a lot of the families on the mainland that obviously can't come out to watch.
I think one of the things, Brent, what I've seen out of your office is you guys generate a lot of information, and get a lot of the stories out after the games, and I could tell you're up extremely late, because I'm up extremely late at night, and it's when you're doing that, do you have to drive back to your campus or back to where you live to do it? I mean, it's got to be hard to probably do it in a city park.
Yeah, usually I drive home and do it once I get home. With the different, locations, say my office isn't, next door. In fact, my office closes, I think, at around 8 p.m. So even if I want to go back to the office, I cannot. So it does lead to some long nights, and so maybe my stories might not be up as quickly after the game, but again, I think it's important to give the fans back, on the mainland and other places, an idea of what's happening. So however late it's got to be, it's got to be, but the story's got to be up on the website. It's
great morning news, though, for the people on the mainland. First thing they get up in the morning. It's talk a little bit, give people some perspective. You just said that your building actually is closed at 8 o'clock and you couldn't get back in. Kind of describe for people where the main campus is for HPU.
It's right in the middle of downtown Honolulu. It's a very urban setting. So my office building it's primarily HPU. There's a UPS store in the lobby area. But besides that, it's all owned by HPU. But then, the next door building is a hotel. The building next to that is a law firm. The building across the street, is an office building. And then, maybe half a block away, there's some more HPU buildings, and then some more office buildings, and then some more HPU buildings. So it's really intermixed in the city, which I think is really good for our business students, as they can, essentially rub elbows with the biggest business leaders and stuff in Hawaii on a daily basis. It doesn't give you that kind of isolated, campus feel. But again, it's not maybe what you would think about when you think about a college campus.
I remember the first time I came to HPU, I was walking up the street that you're on, and I kept walking by that building. Like, I just kept walking by. I just kept missing it, because it really, if people, to kind of get their perspective, it's really sort of a series of high-rises, tall buildings. And it's you're right, it's a really good description. It's just intermingled downtown.
Yeah, definitely a lot of tall buildings down there. And HPU, we've been fortunate to have some nice space over there as well. And some of the professors have unbelievable views from their office, just up high, looking over the ocean, and it's not a bad place to be, city or not.
No, I can imagine not. The in terms of where you're located, are you in a tsunami zone, or how does that affect you when tsunami warnings are in effect?
We are protected by a little bit of a bay area. However, what they tell people in the tsunami flood zone, and I don't know for sure if HPU is. I probably should know that, but I would think it would be. It's probably 5 blocks from the bay. But they say you need to be on the 2nd floor or above for a tsunami zone. So I think if something like that would happen, they would cancel classes, and then anyone who's on campus would just have to move up a floor or two. So I don't think it would be a big deal. Where we're located, where we are in Camillo on that campus, that has to be a huge tsunami for it to get up there, as we're up in the mountains on that side.
Explain what that location is.
For that location, it's kind of on the northeast side of the island, right over the mountain range, the Ko'olau mountain range. And our campus is kind of just on the other side of the mountain range, and that is where a lot of our nursing classes are, some of those science classes. Those classes are over there, and that's also where we have our softball field and our soccer fields. Those are our only 2 facilities that are actually HPU facilities, that's being softball and soccer. So it is a little bit of a trip. It's probably about 20 minutes drive from the downtown campus to the Windward campus. But HPU has a shuttle service, real nice, VIP vans that travel, I think, every 15 minutes to shuttle, people back and forth between classes and whatnot.
Was that always part? Where did HPU start? Did they start downtown and expand out to that location, or were they out there and expand downtown?
Actually, we started downtown as a business college, and then in '93, HPU merged with Hawaii Loa College, and that is what that campus is. That was the Hawaii Loa College campus. HPU merged with them, and then actually Hawaii Pacific College at the time, after merging with Hawaii Loa College, became Hawaii Pacific University. So the HPU part, or HPC, was downtown, and then the merger. And actually, it worked out to HPU Athletics' great advantage at the time, because Hawaii Loa College was really good, and so was HPU. And once they merged together, we won the NAIA National Championship.
Wow. In what sport?
So maybe a little cheating. The 1993 men's basketball NAIA National Championship.
Wow. It's so where do you actually play baseball at?
We play baseball in Waipahu at Hans Lorange Park. It's the city park, but as far as baseball facilities on the island, it's one of the best. It was where they hosted Hawaii Winter Baseball when they had that out here for a number of years.
And then how about tennis? I know we're going to have Lauren Conching on in a few minutes. Where I know you guys are hosting the tennis championships this year, and where is that going to be held at?
That's going to be out in Waipahu as well. It's on the west side of the island. The tennis championship will be at Central Oahu Regional Park. So obviously, Central Oahu. About a 40-minute drive, depending on traffic, from downtown, maybe 30 minutes.
And that's a huge park. That's a huge park, isn't it?
It's a huge park. Actually, Chaminade plays their home softball games there. Many high schools, rec leagues. I mean, there's tons of baseball fields, tons of softball fields, tons of tennis courts. So it's really going to be a great place to have the PacWest Regional, because we'll be able to get a lot of matches going at the same time.
And this year, the PacWest is having men's and women's tennis championships going on for the first time together.
Yeah, that's exciting. From a selfish standpoint at HPU, we're really good at men's tennis. And for a number of years, it wasn't a PacWest sport. So for things like the Commissioner's Cup and maybe just general bragging rights, we didn't really ever get to put men's tennis in the conversation. So obviously, HPU's got to go prove it on the court this year, but we're really excited to have men's tennis now, as a PacWest sport, and obviously women's tennis. Us and BYU have been, in the top 5 in the country for, year upon year, and the PacWest Championship theoretically could be a rematch between those two teams, and that's something really I'm looking forward to as well.
How exciting was it for the women's tennis team to beat BYU Hawaii? And I think you won the match there, didn't you, at their location?
Yeah, it was up in Laie on the North Shore of Oahu, and since we're doing Oahu geography lessons, BYU Hawaii is probably about an hour away from the downtown campus, almost on the very top north part of the island. But anyway, yeah, it was a very exciting match. As you know, HPU and BYU have been really good over the past decade or even more. However, we didn't play them for a number of years, which was very strange. Both teams are on Oahu, but for whatever reason, it never worked out that the teams agreed to play. And then recently, the past 2 years since Lauren Conching has been the head coach at HPU, and give Lauren a lot of credit for this, she was able to work it out that we did get to play them. And, they beat us last year, and then we went up there and beat them for the first time in program history. And, to also give you kind of the historical perspective on it, it was the first time BYU had lost a regular season match since 1997. I mean, they'd lost in the national tournament, but to go, that long without losing a match and then lose it to your cross-island rival, from an HPU perspective, didn't get much sweeter than that.
It's going to be a really exciting championship this year, and I know I've been obviously to a number of the tennis championships, and it's a great spectacle because you have so much going on, and with the men playing now at the same time, if you enjoy tennis or like an event, it's a really fun thing to go to because you could kind of wander around and watch all different matches going on, and there's always a lot of grunting going on too.
Oh yeah, it's one of those sports where you might think, tennis, or it's a nice country club sport, et cetera, et cetera. Now these guys are out there, and girls, and they're going full go at it. It's a lot of players that are international and are just that one notch below the people you see on TV. Talking about the major championships. So there's a lot of high quality tennis going on, and if you're like you said, if you're a tennis fan or just a fan of sport in general, it's going to be a fun event to check out.
Well, Brent, we appreciate it. We're going to get Lauren here to talk a little bit more about the championships and about the big win for HPU and the program. We appreciate you joining us. Keep up the great work you do there at HPU.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks. Brent Curry, Sports Information Director at Hawaii Pacific University. And now we're going to flip over to Lauren Conching, the head women's tennis coach at Hawaii Pacific University. In her second year as a head coach, she was an assistant there for 5 years. And she had arguably the biggest win in program history, beating BYU Hawaii at BYU Hawaii this year. The Sea Warriors are number 3. Lauren, welcome to PacWest Radio.
Hi, thank you.
Lauren Conching, the head coach of HPU. We just got off the phone with Brent Curry, and we were talking about specifically about your win over BYU Hawaii. I know this is your second year as a head coach. You've been there 5 years as an assistant coach. Can you really put into perspective what that win meant for HPU to go up to BYU Hawaii, beat that program, and what it meant for your program and your student athletes?
It just, it meant so much to the program. BYU has had an amazing history. They're a great program, and we had just lost to them so many times, and it just felt like we had done something for all the players who had played for HPU, because so many of the girls that played for me when I was an assistant coach, they always contact me still, like, when are you guys playing BYU? This could be the year. When are you going to do it? So It felt like a relief, I guess.
It's funny because I know you've been involved with a long time with the program, and I know that the championships that I've actually had an opportunity to be at, it always seemed like it was HPU losing to BYU Hawaii in the championship match, and
yeah.
and that's what you experienced. So you win that match, and now you get the rankings. You're number 3 in the country. Wow, what's that done for the program?
It's been amazing. I think it finally, winning at BYU finally gave my girls just the feeling that this is where they belong. For so long we've been telling them, you guys are such a good team. You're so talented. You need to believe this. I know we haven't had a huge win, but you need to believe that. And after a while, I was afraid that it was just words, that they weren't believing me anymore. That it was just like, well, she's telling us we're great because she has to. But, for them to win finally and in the way that we won, it really just made them believe that, hey, this is true, It showed them what we've been telling them.
Let me give you an opportunity to talk about some of your players. And you can probably pronounce their names a little better than I can. So, but talk about them and let people know. As Brent was saying, these are really high quality tennis players that come from all over the world.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I have a very diverse team. They're, like you said, they're from everywhere around the world. I have 3 players who, as juniors, they were lucky enough to get to travel and play on the professional tour, which is something that a lot of players don't get to do because they don't have the resources. So, my number 1 player, she's from the Ukraine, and her name looks very long, but we call her Lisa, and she's just phenomenal. I mean, she's had a lot of ups and downs here at HPU, but she's been just a real leader and someone who really can show the rest of the girls what it means to play number 1. It's not just playing well, but it's how you act, it's how you present yourself in the school. So I've been lucky. I have a great group of girls, and they've done an awesome job so far.
Was it hard after you won that match? Was it hard to play the next match because you chase, and and then you finally win. Not only do you win at their place, and now you have to go play the next match. And as a coach, how did you handle that?
It was that was the hardest thing that we had to do. I think after we played them, we didn't have a match until we left for California, and I think everyone was very on edge, so it felt really good to get one match after that, after beating BYU, but I think everyone felt like, all right, we did something amazing. We finally did what we've been talking about. Now don't screw it up. So, I think it's natural to think that, or I hope so, but, we played Cal State LA the next day, the next match, and they came out really strong. I mean, they had nothing to lose, and we noticed a lot of teams were playing more loose against us. Teams that we normally took care of pretty easily in the past had gotten stronger, and they're playing much more free, which, when you have something to lose, it gets a little tight in certain points. So, but it was really nice after we beat Cal State LA to kind of like, all right, that's done with. Now we can move on.
It's really interesting that the way you described that with the Cal State LA match, because probably if you had lost to BYU Hawaii, you kind of go in and continue to take care of business. But now you're the team that beat the team that has been so dominant. Now they look at it, hey, this is the best team right now, and now they're all gunning for you. And I guess that's the position as a coach. You have to talk to the players and say, hey, it's still a court with a fence and a net, and you just got to play your game.
Yeah, and, that's exactly what you're right. That's exactly what we had to do. And we also have to remind them, like, hey, you want to be at the top, but it's lonely at the top. So you have to remember that.
It's how cool was it? In a lot of sports, when you play for home field advantage in playoffs. With tennis, it's kind of it is a preset location for a lot of reasons. But in effect, if you looked at that scenario of being a team that was fighting for a home field advantage in a postseason and a right to host, in effect, you did that by going and winning at BYU Hawaii, and ironically, you're tagged as the host school this year anyway. So that had to be a pretty cool scenario to say, hey, we're hosting, we won this match, and now we get a chance to show off what we can do at our facility.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's an honor to be hosting, especially with, I know even the head men's coach and I were both happy that we're hosting the first joint conference championship. But it's pretty cool to be knowing that we're going to go in as the number 1 seed and kind of like, this is our tournament and we're also the top seed. So
it's let's talk a little bit about, now you have multiple roles there at HPU. Mm-hmm. And I know you do marketing. I was reading through your bio. Did I read that right? You worked for CBS Sports at one time?
Yeah, when I graduated from college, I worked there for a couple of years in New York. So
it's a big difference. Well, it's downtown Hawaii, Honolulu, but it's a big difference going from New York to Honolulu. How did you end up in Hawaii?
Well, I was born and raised here. Actually, I left after I graduated from high school. I went to Texas and played for a junior college for 2 years, and then I transferred to Stony Brook, which nobody knew about until last year's World Series, Collegiate World Series. So I played for them, and then afterwards I started working for CBS Sports in Manhattan, and after a couple of years I was just ready to come back, so I moved home.
Well, let me tell you, I'm very familiar with Stony Brook. They were a Division II school at one time that used to play Westchester when I was there before they went up to Division I. So, and they're located out on Long Island, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So it's so talk about your other roles there. It's obviously, there's a lot of coaches that just coach, but you have to manage coaching, but you have to also manage a lot of the stuff that you do in terms of the marketing and the sort of the community engagement and bringing fans in. Tell listeners what you do there at HPU.
Well, I'm the marketing coordinator here, and I take care of the sponsorships. I'm in charge of our fundraising event, our largest fundraising event at the beginning of the year. So we usually hold it in September. It's where we also induct our Hall of Fame class for that year. I take care of the community engagement projects that involve all of our sports teams. So we do like a National Girls and Women in Sports Day. We do a helmet distribution event. And we do a Halloween event. So there's a couple of things that we do as an athletics department as a whole. And then I'm also in charge of trying to bring fans in to watch our team. So just getting the word out through social media, through posters and flyers, and our intercampus mail. I
would say that you have the biggest challenge of trying to bring fans in because of, as Brent put it, your locations. It's not really downtown that you play, other than basketball at an arena. I think, what do you play over the Blaisdell Arena sometimes? But you really have sometimes 40-minute drives to get to an athletic event.
It's really difficult. It's certainly a challenge, but it's not just us that struggles with fan attendance here. It's, I think, a lot of the schools, especially in the Honolulu area, and it's just because, if it's a nice day outside and you wake up in the morning, it's like, well, I could watch soccer or baseball or softball, or I could go to the beach.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of students choose to go to the beach, or go hiking, or there's a lot of things to do here. So
it's well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on a huge victory. I know as a coach, your coaching mentality, you're probably looking and saying, hey, we still got a long way to go, because we got a conference tournament and then an NCAA tournament that will follow. But Lauren, you're doing a terrific job, and we appreciate you taking time. Good luck, and good luck in the championships.
Thank you so much.
Lauren Conching, the head coach of Hawaii Pacific University's women's tennis program, joining us on PacWest Radio, and again ranked 3rd in the nation. And they are currently they will be the host institution on Oahu for the PacWest Men's and Women's Tennis Championships, and they're coming up here in mid-April, and it'll be a lot of fun. So
awesome!
It'll be awesome. So, Joe, we're really excited. PacWest Radio rolling along. In a couple weeks, you're going to be heading out of town.
When are we going to go out to Hawaii though, and actually, visit these people out there and say hello? And isn't that part of our job?
That should be part of our job.
I hope so.
It's we'll talk to the commissioner.
All right.
And see what funding we can get. So, but we're coming up to in mid-April here the first track and field championships, the men's and women's golf championships. We're going to have 4 championships this spring, Joe, for the first time ever. Men's and women's track and field, women's golf, men's tennis. Because we've always had women's tennis and men's golf, and now we're going to have 6.
And now we've lost, though, Grand Canyon University going to Division I. Do we have anything in Arizona now?
In terms of PacWest schools?
Right, schools.
What we will have in Arizona is a ton of student athletes that play in the conference throughout.
Gotcha.
They're in the desert. They want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right.
So we do have, because there will be no Division II schools in the state, period. So, and it's a great way of choosing academics and athletics. So, but next week we'll have another great guest. For Joe Carrero, I'm Tom D. Camillo. Thanks for listening to PacWest Radio on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
Hi, this is Daniel, your host for Rock and Roll 101, every other Sunday at 5 on KQCK.
Engine parts aren't the only things that wear out over time. Bending or reaching can leave you feeling like an old clunker. But joint pain doesn't have to slow you down. Schedule an appointment with the orthopedic specialists at Banner Ironwood Medical Center. You might just find there's a lot more mileage to be had in your knees, shoulders, elbows, or any part of your body that feels broken down. We have the specially trained staff, state-of-the-art technology, imaging, and physical therapy to get you back on the road. They're experts at diagnosing, treating, and rehabilitating joint injuries. Just call 480-394-4480 or visit bannerhealth.com.